them left. So it was only the 4 lepers in this entire city, tent city. It was just them. They had free access to everything. They were just having themselves a nice little Syrian banquet, and had all this. They had the pick of the lot of all of the nice clothing and all of the nice jewelry and everything, because they were by themselves. I mean, they had themselves a good shopping spree. I'm sure that if they hadn't had a nice piece of clothing on their bodies in a long time, they probably took themselves a nice bath and had themselves some nice clothing, probably looked like kings for the first time in ages. It's like nobody would have recognized them as lepers at this point. So they were just looking good. So the king arose at night and said to the servants, "Let me tell you what the Syrians have done to us. They know we're hungry, so they've gone out to the camp, hid themselves in the field." And so the servants answered, "Please take several men and 5 horses and go to the city." And they came, and the multitude of Israel who left into the city. And so they took 2 chariots. So this is, the funny thing is, these 4 lepers are really enjoying themselves, having themselves their little banquet. And it actually took them a while to even talk Israel into believing their story. Because, these are just lepers. They're like, are you really going to believe these lepers? These lepers are outcasts. They're not, you can't believe them. I mean, they're not. So they had to send people to go investigate the story and say, is this for real? And so they went and sent some people to go in to check out the story. And then they finally found out that this was real. They were able to confirm it, and Israel was able to eat and drink and were able to get relief from the famine that was going on. And I just wanted to say that because I feel like maybe somebody out there needs to know that God uses the least likely in this day. We're not. God doesn't use us because we're the most qualified. He doesn't use us because we have an educational degree. He doesn't use us because of our distinct personality set. He uses us because we make ourselves available. I mean, those 4 lepers could have just said, nobody ever loved us. Nobody ever did anything for us. So we'll just take all this stuff and go on and have a good life. Forget everybody else. They never did anything for us. We'll just take all of our riches and go live our life. But they didn't. They went and helped the people who hated them. I mean, really, to be honest, I mean, every time a Jew came, even within, I don't know exactly what the distance is, but they'd have to yell out, "Unclean, unclean." It was, they were treated horribly. They couldn't come near the camp they couldn't go in and worship anymore because there was no place for them in the Jewish temple. And so, here we are looking at a story of redemption in a way, because the ones who were cast out of the temple for being unclean were the ones that became the salvation of Israel. In a way, that's us. The Gentiles can be that in a way, today, because God is using us as Gentiles to stand on the wall for Israel. And that's my only really strong belief right now, is that for such a time as this, God has called us to really stand in intercession for Israel.